How did I get involved with the paranormal? People ask me that question a lot. It all started when I was 15. My boyfriend at the time, who was 17, had decided to take his own life. Not long after the funeral, my mom and I were sitting in the living room and we were watching the movie Ghost with Demi Moore and Patrick Swayze. Of all movies to watch not long after my boyfriend's funeral. As we were sitting there watching it, all of a sudden I looked over and out of the corner of my eye, I saw this white, shadowy, misty figure standing at the top of the staircase. I happened to look over at my mom, and I remember the look on her face. She just had this, oh my God, what the hell look. And I asked her, I said, did you see the same thing that I saw? And she said, yes. But we weren't scared. And that told me that that was my boyfriend. He was just checking up on me and making sure I was doing okay. That pretty much started my interest in the paranormal. I started to go to the library and I would check out books that would talk a little more about the paranormal. I just wanted to, more or less, my hope was that I would be able to somehow communicate with my boyfriend. Being that it was a suicide, as with every suicide, there's always the question of why. That is always the main question. Even though there were notes left, he still never said why. And I was hoping that I could find a way to talk to him. So I read a lot of books. And at that time, I had no clue that I was an empath. I had no clue that I had the gift of being able to talk to spirits the way that I can now. And I really wish that I had known that at the time. So one Christmas, I happened to get a Ouija board. And a Ouija board back in those days where it was just a toy. It was just something to scare the shit out of you, but at the same time, it was a toy. And I remember I had a couple friends staying the night and my parents were gone, so it was just us in the house. And we got the Ouija board out and we lit some candles and we started asking questions. And at that time, I had a necklace with a cross pendant on it that my boyfriend had given me before he died. So we were doing our thing with the Ouija board, asking questions, and all of a sudden we started hearing these noises coming from somewhere in the house. And the more questions we asked, the more odd things that would happen. Suddenly we had all of the candles, I think we had 4 or 5 lit, had all of those just blow out. I had a full-length mirror in my room leaning up against the wall. That knocked over onto the Ouija board and busted. The cross necklace that I had on was ripped off my neck and thrown across the room. That scared the living shit out of me and my friends. And we weren't about to sit in my bedroom anymore. So we all ran downstairs into the living room and we sat there until my parents came home. And then we went back up into my room and we felt a little more comfortable. By then we had put the Ouija board away. We didn't want anything to do with that. So a couple months later, we decided, okay, we're going to be brave again, and we are going to get the Ouija board out again. Well, this time we did it with the lights on. And again, my parents weren't home, so it was just me and my friends. We left my bedroom light on, and I made sure I had gotten a new full-length mirror. I had made sure to turn that around, and I did not have any cross jewelry on, and neither did any of my friends. So we started doing our thing, and the power started to flicker. And we started getting scared, but we didn't stop playing with the Ouija board. So we were still continuing to ask questions, of course, and deep down, I mean, at that time, I didn't realize how dangerous Ouija boards really were. So deep down, I was hoping that my boyfriend would come through. I wanted to talk to him. Well, we would get all of these jumbled responses, and eventually the light in my bedroom just went out completely. We all screamed and we ran our asses back downstairs. And again, that is where we stayed until my parents got home. We didn't touch that Ouija board again. That Ouija board was done. It was put away in my basement, and we never played that thing again. I kind of gave up on learning about the paranormal for a while. And then that was about, I was 15 and 16 then. So I started getting interested in it again. I was probably 20, maybe 21, and I started getting books again. And nothing really, I read about everything, but nothing really got stuck in my head. It's not that I wasn't a believer back then, because I sure in the hell was. It was just, okay, there's ghosts, big deal. So again, for a few years, I just, okay, whatever. And, every once in a while I would buy the herbs and the oils and stuff and just do basic spells, for, abundance and stuff like that. Well, then we had moved I was married, and I had my daughter. And we had moved from Traverse City, Michigan to Essexville, Michigan, which is by Bay City. And it was then that I started getting interested in the paranormal again. So again, I ordered and bought books, read up on it. And it was then that I discovered that I was an empath. That explained why I was able to see the spirits, why it was so easy for me to see them, why, I had the feelings that I did when I was near a haunted location. And it really explains, I always thought I was shy, because I didn't like being around a crowd of people. I didn't like being around anybody, really, other than my family. And I always thought, okay, I'm shy. It was like that all through high school. I was shy. I was just shy and awkward. But then finding out that I'm an empath, that explained that as well. When you're an empath, you feel everybody's emotions. Anybody that is around you, you feel those emotions. You can feel sadness and fear and guilt and anger in one room. And it puts your system in overload. It puts your mind in a dark place. And when I first found out that I was an empath, I thought, oh my God, this is going to be so effing cool. Well, being an empath, it can be a gift, but it is also a curse. And just feeling the emotions of everybody around me. You know, you watch, I don't know if you've seen The Ghost Whisperer. Well, there's several episodes where she is walking through a hospital with headphones on. So she can't hear all of these spirits talking to her. That's me. I don't like going to places where I know is going to be filled with spirits. Because sometimes your mind, when you're an empath, it takes you to places you don't ever want to fucking go. And if I know that people that aren't empaths, they don't understand that. You know, there are still people out there going, oh my God, being a psychic, being this, being that, that would be so cool. No, it is not cool. So anyways, got off track, sorry. So anyways, when we moved back to Essexville, because I had never gone on a paranormal investigation. And I really wanted to get with a paranormal team. So I found one online that was just in the next city over. And, we did investigations. I joined the group and we did the investigations. And if you've seen my Millington Hills video that I did a couple days ago about our experiences, that's who I went with, was my paranormal team. And that was my very first paranormal investigation. And it's just amazing when you're a paranormal investigator, you just learn so many new different things. You learn about spirits that you didn't even imagine could exist. You learn about all the signs about when a spirit's near. You get the smells and you get sounds and you get, visual, and you get dreams. You get crazy dreams when you're a psychic or an empath. Dreams that will literally scare the shit out of you, especially when they come true. I get those kind of dreams once in a while. They don't all come true, but I have had a few come true, and that scared the living shit out of me. But when you're into the paranormal so deep, I mean, I'm fascinated by it. I have been in this now for, oh my gosh, probably 12 years. And even to this day, I am still learning new things. And I mean, it's amazing, but it's so draining. Being an empath, when I go out in public, go grocery shopping, attend a concert or something like that, by the end of that trip, I am so physically drained and I get the worst headaches. I get so tired and I just come home and I just want to sleep. It just literally sucks the life right out of you. So I guess be careful what you wish for. If you wish you were a psychic or an empath and think it'd be this great, cool gift that would be awesome, it's not. I mean, it is wonderful when you can use it to help somebody or to even talk to a spirit and help them cross over. That is an amazing feeling. But with all the investigations that I have done, I mean, like I've said in my other videos, I have so many that I'm going to make videos about to share with you guys. But I have been abused by ghosts. Yeah, I've been hit, I've been pushed, I've been grabbed, I've been called a bitch, I've been called, I've been told, get out. And when you experience those for the first time, you are so completely caught off guard. No matter how long you have been doing this, it just shocks and scares the shit out of you. I literally went running out of one of the houses that we were investigating because something whispered in my ear, get out. And we were upstairs and I flew down them steps and I ran outside. And they had a hell of a time getting me to go back in. That was just something new and it just scared the shit out of me. But, you learn to, when you learn you're an empath and, all of these things are happening to you. Thankfully, I learned to control it. Before it would just run wild. But I've learned to control it. I have learned to take it down a notch. There's techniques that have helped me to deal with the fact that I'm an empath and I'm going to be an empath for the rest of my life because you cannot shut it off. There is no on and off switch for this. When you're a psychic or an empath, you're that for the rest of your life, whether you like it or not. You just have to learn the techniques to control it. And thankfully, I have those now. They don't always work. I still get overwhelmed and stuff like that at times. But for the most part, it all works. But yeah, just experiencing that stuff for the first time is just weird. It scares the shit out of you. But it's always so intriguing and fascinating. I can never get enough of paranormal. Where I'm always looking for places to go and investigate. I just want to, there's so many places around the world that I want to go to investigate. But, I mean, chances are 95% of them I'll never get to see. I would love to have my own show or at least be on a show with another team. That has always been my dream. Now I can talk to the spirits. A lot of time they don't listen to me. They don't want to hear what I have to say. They're just, they just want to attack me, I guess. But, I lost my grandparents. I lost my Uncle Steve in 2007. He died suddenly. He had hernia surgery, and a couple days later, he got a blood clot, and that killed him. That was one of the hardest days of my life. But because I was an empath, and my mind was open, and I believe in all that, and in the afterlife and communication, I was able to see him. I was able to communicate with him. And then in 2013, I lost my grandma, my big grandma. I called her Big Grandma. There was a reason for it, but that's what all the kids called her. My world ended the day that she died. My big grandma was like a mom to me. She meant the world to me. But again, because I was an empath and I believe and my mind was open, I've been able to see her and feel her, and I feel like I can, communicate with her. And the same with my Uncle Steve. I love talking to them. I will just sit here and I will just talk to them and have a conversation. And then, but with my grandma, my Uncle Steve, it was sudden. So, that was shocking in itself. But because he died of a blood clot, his death was also sudden. So I'm glad he didn't suffer. My big grandma was diagnosed with lung cancer in July of 2013. And by September, she was gone. But she suffered. She suffered a lot of pain. And then in September of, I lost my big grandma in 2011. In September of 2013, I lost my papa from a mix of medical conditions, but it was a broken heart. That's what ultimately killed him. He lost my grandma. But just like with my big grandma and Uncle Steve, because I'm an empath and my mind is open and I believe I could communicate with him as well. I've seen him. So that's a good part about being an empath. When you have loved ones that have passed over, you're still able to communicate with them, and that means more to me than anything. Oh, sorry, guys. I just totally lost my train of thought. But yeah, that's one of the better parts about being an empath. And I know that you guys have seen my security camera footage of the paranormal incidents that have been going on inside my house. So I'm going to cover that too. That way you'll have a little backstory to what leads up to the led up to those videos. We bought this house in 2018. And when we pulled up to the house, I got a sense of not really fear. I really wasn't scared, but I knew that there was something here. So just out of the blue, I asked the owner if they have ever experienced any kind of paranormal activity. And he hesitated. And after a long hesitation, he said, "No, we haven't." I knew he was lying, of course. So I thought, okay, just let it go. Now, mind you, my house is a big 2,500 square foot house. We have 4 bedrooms. There are 3 bedrooms upstairs and then 1 downstairs. My husband and I sleep in the one downstairs. The kids sleep upstairs. Well, the owner and his wife had a 2-year-old child. They shared a bed. the downstairs bedroom with their child. They never went upstairs. The upstairs, they stored a few things up there, and that's it. They never slept up there, nothing. Which I found quite odd. You know, why would you buy this big house with so many bedrooms only to sleep downstairs? That kind of told me that there was some activity going on upstairs. And once we moved in, when we first moved in, nothing really happened. But then we started hearing, when the kids weren't home, we started hearing footsteps upstairs. And, you know, just the noises upstairs. And in my stepdaughter's room, there is the upstairs. First of all, the upstairs is very outdated. The downstairs is remodeled. The upstairs was never touched. So in my stepdaughter's room, she has a walk-in closet, which is completely unfinished. And at the back of the closet, there is a hole that leads to another teeny tiny, almost like attic room. On the other side of her bedroom, there is a small attic. I truly believe that there is a portal in either the closet or her bed or the attic in her room. Because that seemed to be where the noises would come from. And after a while, my stepdaughter had even started, hearing and seeing things. Well, and then there's my stepson's room, or what used to be his room. My son's in there now. He had just a regular closet, but in, again, his closet, there was a huge hole, or is a huge hole in the back of the closet leading to further into the house. And then in the third bedroom upstairs, there's the bedroom, and then there's like the small room off of the bedroom that, I don't know, could be like a half bath or something. But but there is the ceiling attic in there. And in that little room, and I don't know, I'm trying to figure this whole thing out too. In that little room, you'll see this window that just stares at the underside of the staircase leading upstairs. It's like a straight drop down into nothing. So I firmly believe that there is some kind of portal up there. So then eventually we started hearing the footsteps downstairs. My son, when COVID first started, he was going to college in Ohio. His school closed, so he moved back home. Well, he started hearing, when he was in the bathroom, which is downstairs at the base of the staircase, he started hearing footsteps in the kitchen. So he would think, okay, somebody's coming to use the bathroom. Except when he came out, nobody was there. Me and my husband were sleeping, and either my stepkids weren't home or they were in their rooms. And then my husband started hearing them. And for quite a while, I didn't hear or see anything in this house. I just felt, but I didn't hear or see anything. And then whatever is here, I mean, it started out really weak. It's really strong now. But it seemed to target my husband. My husband would start seeing shadow figures. He would start hearing voices. In the middle of the night, one night, he heard a little girl's voice say, "Daddy." And he thought it was his daughter, and he opened his eyes, and there was nobody there. And then he remembered his stepdaughter was at her mom's. And then he would hear the footsteps, and things would start moving. We have a fireplace, and there was a plastic bucket that he had used to empty the fireplace ashes into. The bucket turned all by itself. And then just, weird little things happening. And then the birds started hitting the windows. When that first happened, it's like, okay, birds, they hit the windows all the time. It's nothing. But here's the twist. Every time a bird would hit the window, within a couple of days, my husband would end up in the ER. He has heart trouble. He has heart problems. He's had heart attacks, and he's got some other health issues. But it never freaking failed. Every time a damn bird would hit the window, my husband would end up in the ER within a couple of days. So now every time a bird hits the window, we just look at each other and we know. And sure enough, hospital. Well, after a while, the spirit must have wanted me to start seeing and hearing and smelling it. Because then I started hearing the footsteps and little noises. And the radio in our bathroom would turn on by itself. I would see things move. At night, when my husband and I are in bed, and he goes to bed way before me, but when I go in there at night and I try to fall asleep, there are times when I'll start hearing noises in the bedroom, and then I will get the smell of rotten meat or wet earth. And it gets so strong that I have to get up and spray perfume around the bedroom just to get the smell to go away. And that doesn't always work. So I thought, all right, I'm going to sage the house. So I did that. I did everything they tell you to do. Sage, say prayers, do this, do that. I did it. That seemed to make the spirit stronger. Well, we have a crawl space. And the crawl space is very, very weird. It's in the kitchen. It's behind here. Now, this looks like just a regular door to a pantry. But when you open it, that's the crawl space. It goes all the way underneath the house. And down there are 3 separate rooms. Along one of the walls, I would take you down there, but I'm scared to death down there. I don't want anything to do with it. But along one of the walls, there is a bunch of built-in shelves, and they have a bunch of canning jars in there. And then other food jars filled with something, I don't know. But I'm smart. I know that when you find shit like that, don't open it. I don't even touch it. But I think that there is something down there as well. And I think that it might have to do with whatever is in those jars. I mean, yeah, some of them are just simple canning jars, but I live in Michigan. And Michigan, our grounds, Indian burial grounds are found all over Michigan. So I don't know. We live out in the middle of nowhere. We have fields surrounding our house. So who knows if this was land where, Indians were killed, or, anybody else was killed for that matter. It doesn't necessarily have to be your house that's haunted. It could be your property. But you know, are there burial grounds somewhere around here? I don't know. I haven't done the research on my house. But I do need to do that because I need to know what has happened around here in the past, and that might help what's going on now. But anyway, I got off track again. I apologize. So, you know, once the spirit made itself known to me, I really started trying to figure out what is going on. So, we have actually never experienced any activity outside of the house up until my security cam videos. And a couple of days before the incidents with the security cameras, we have two garages. We have an attached and then a small detached. My husband was out in the small detached one, and he felt like somebody was in there with him. And this was during the day. He turned around, and there was a black shadow figure that went out of the garage. And that scared the shit out of him. Enough to come in the house and have to tell me. So, we thought, okay, this is interesting. Now the activity is leading outside. So with our security cameras, I check my security cameras constantly. Not because I'm paranoid. And the only reason we have them up is because we've had some issues with a couple of people. But I just check them for activity, paranormal activity. And the 3 videos that I posted a few days ago, the first one, if you guys haven't seen the first, or any of them really, the first one is the camera that is on the side of our house that points to our vehicles. And now, mind you, these 3 videos were, I want to say 2 days after my husband had that incident in our garage. In the first video, you can clearly hear what sounds like the voice of a child, and this is at like midnight. The voice of a child possibly saying help. And then about 45 minutes later, my son came home from work, and the camera that picked up the last 2 videos is on our garage. So it's facing the vehicles from another direction. My son gets out of his truck, goes around to the passenger side, gets his lunchbox and stuff out, and starts walking up towards the house. You could hear the snow crunching beneath his feet. Well, then suddenly it was almost dead quiet. You couldn't hear his feet walking across the snow. There was a whisper that said, "Leave right now." And then you could hear again my son's footsteps crunching in the snow. And he came in the house. About, I don't know, about a minute or so later, that garage camera again picked up the sound of what sounded like our garage door slamming down. Like somebody had picked it up and slammed it down. And then not long after that, you can see what I believe is an orb flying out of the small garage. Now, again, I'm in Michigan. It's, it was like 0 degrees out. We have snow on the ground. We don't have bugs. Michigan does not have insects out in the winter. So, I watched those videos the next morning, and the little kid's voice creeped me out. The sound of the garage creeped me out. But when I heard the whisper, "Leave right now," that scared the living shit out of me. That freaked me out so bad that I started screaming at the spirits, "You do not touch my child. You do not in any way, shape, or form harm my child." Because I feel it was a direct threat to my son. And ever since then, the cameras haven't picked up anything else, but we're still hearing noises, and the noises are getting louder in my bedroom at night. So I mean, whatever is here is getting stronger. I know that houses that have teenagers, that can cause activity because of their, the hormones and all the shit that they're going through. And, but whatever it is, something is in this house, and it is getting stronger every day. And yeah, it does scare the shit out of me and it's not just one. We have multiple spirits here. I strongly believe that, Big Grandma, Papa, and Uncle Steve, they're here protecting us. But I also believe that there's evil spirits in this house that want to do us harm. So I'm thinking what I'm going to have to do is end up getting a paranormal team in here, because I can't handle it on my own anymore. Before, I could handle it on my own, but now it's just too strong. I don't know what to do. So I'm going to try to get a team in here, and hopefully we can figure out what the hell is going on with my house. So I'm sure I'll be posting more videos of the activity in my house, and I'm hoping, not that I want something major to happen, but I'm hoping that I will be able to capture something bigger happening, like maybe the footsteps. Just want to share with you guys, everything that's going on here. So anyways, that's how I became interested in the paranormal. That was quite the journey for me. I'm sad that it had to start with the death of my boyfriend. But, it's led me here. All right, so, well, that's that. And I will be posting another video probably within the next day or two about another little cemetery adventure that my kids and I have had. And this one's a good one. Only a few scary things, but this one's quite interesting. So, all right. Thank you guys for watching my videos and giving me likes and commenting. And feel free to share with me your paranormal experience as well, because I would love to hear them. All right, guys. I think I need to go to bed. Night, guys.